Antonio Langham, welcome back into the game. I hope you're doing well, man.
Man, I'm hanging in there, man. Hanging in there.
Well, just certainly wanted to get your thoughts, and we said it when we opened up the 2 o'clock show that 92 team was close, and I know you guys are all having a difficult time today hearing the news of Jeremy Nunley passing away.
Yeah, man, it was tough. I received the news late last night. My teammate, Chris Dunley, he had hit me with a text message and told me to call him. And when I called him back, he kind of let me in on the news that was going on with Nunnally. Man, it kind of touched me a little bit and made me have to take a seat for a minute, because one thing, man, about that 92 team we had, man, was a special team, man. We were a close-knit team then, and we still are now. And when we see each other, man, it's like being back in school again, man. And even ever since college, I always used to call him Second to None, and he loved his nickname Second to None. So every time I see him, that's what I would always call him, Second to None. And he always called me Rudy. Him and several other guys called me Rudy or Fat Albert in the game.
Fat Albert?
Yeah, they would call me Rudy from Fat Albert in the game.
Oh, okay,
okay. Rudy.
I was about to say Antonio Langham, Fat Albert. I mean, they don't see any similarities there.
They call me Rudy. So.
Okay, I got you. But everything we hear about Jeremy Nunley, obviously, Brother Oliver a couple of minutes ago, I mean, you look at the personality. I mean, it seemed like to be a big-time team guy is what Coach Oliver said.
Oh, he was. Nunnally, man, was a special guy, man. He had a great but crazy sense of humor. If you needed it to be said, Nunnally would say it. And if you didn't want it to be said, Nunnally still was said. So it was Nunnally in a nutshell. And I mean, it was a lot of fun to be around him. He always had jokes. He always had cracks for everybody. I mean, we was all at a Nick at Noon this season, and he was there, man. And it was a table full of former players, because it was kind of around our reunion time, and he gave the table a hard time that day. Nunnally did. It's him. He remembers everything from college, and he can let you know about what you did in college. It was it was fun, and just thinking back on the times we had playing together and all the good times we had, man. You try to let all the good times you have with a person override the moment of sadness that we all are feeling as teammates to hear the sudden passing of our teammate, man. It's tough on a lot of us. We all have been talking and conversing a lot here and there, man. It's a tough deal right now.
Yeah, 46 years of age is just too early. I mean, I know it's death is always, whether it's 50s, 60s, 70s, but 46 just grabs you for some reason.
Right, it does, man. And what grabs you more than that is that, you know, he's a family man. He has wife and kids that he leaves behind that I know for a fact that he's very close to, very close with, and I know it's a tough deal, not only for us, but I know definitely for his wife and kids and the rest of his family, man. So we're just keeping them all in our prayers, and we're there for his family if they need anything from us. We're there for them. So, and 46 is a little too soon. So, but hey, you know, God makes no mistakes. So he was ready for our man. So he brought him on home.
Antonio Langham, Alabama, and I hate to make this transition, but we got to transition at some point. Alabama wins another national title. Reflect on that from a defensive back perspective, that final play.
Well, I mean, as a defensive back guy, looking at it from the other end, I mean, you're in a situation where you just sack the quarterback, and you know they're going to try to get some of those yardage back because of the situation. And the one thing as a defensive back you play for not to give up the big play, like the deep play. And I mean, Tua had to do a heck of a job of looking at safety off. But, everybody jumps to safety's case about that play, which it was more his play. But you look at that play, the corner's play was awful, too, because in that cover, too, he has to reroute their receiver and slow him down. And it was like the receiver just had a free release to go and do what he had to do. You could call it, say the coordinator made a bad call. You could say the safety did a bad job, the corner did a bad job. But, hey, your job is don't give up the D plays. So wherever it's alignment and assignment all the time, and you got to be where you're supposed to be. And if you're not there, then things like that happen, which I'm glad he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It worked in our favor, but, it just goes, even with me coaching high school football, I preach the same sermon each and every day, play after play, alignment and assignment. Line up where you're supposed to be, and do your assignment. Then everything else works out for you. But when you don't, then that's when the big things happen to you. Your kids, you coach high school kids, and they always like to give you that one statement. My bad, coach. And I always look at them and say, yeah, that's usually what follows a mess up. My bad.
You're not too hard on them, are you?
Ooh, there's some days. I am. I'll say I am. I'm starting to really get that coaching bug. I am, but I jump the case and then I love on them after that. You got to jump the case, but then love on them a little bit right after that.
Now, did Coach Saban do that to you during the NFL? Did he jump you and then love on you a little bit?
Oh no, he jump on you and then walk away from you. Like you didn't know if it was love there or not. He jump on you, he jump your case and then walk away from you and then turn and look back at you. So you already that said enough that he was happy with you. But as the day goes on, he'll come back and he'll let you know. If I'm easy on you, you won't get it done. So I want the best for you. I know it's greatness in there. So if I don't jump your case and don't ride you, then I'm failing you as a coach. So you understand it. But there are some days with him, you just want to take all your uniform off and just ball them up and be like, look, let's just go for what we know and get this over with.
Wow. But, no, you spend time reflecting on what Coach Saban has been able to do here. You and I both grew up in this state, up in North Alabama, and right. Obviously our parents connected us with Coach Paul Bear Bryant. I never thought we'd be talking at a time, and I keep saying this because I never thought that we'd see it. We've got a guy that just tied Coach Paul Bear Bryant with national titles.
I know it. It just you would have figured during our time that you would have a coach in here to come in and that would win a couple of championships and give Alabama, the University of Alabama, the fans, and everybody else something to be excited about. But to go to be in the category of Coach Bryant and say you're tied with him as far as is winning championships and the possibility of topping him, that's big. That's saying a lot for him as first as a man, second as a coach, third with the ability to be able to recruit the guys to come into the program and be able to win like that. If you looking in this generation for a blueprint as a coach on how to do it, then you're trying to get your hand on his blueprint because his blueprint is speaking for itself.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Let me ask you, if Alabama chooses to go, obviously, with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts and what he gives you, how much of a nightmare would that be for an opposing defensive player, especially a coordinator, trying to design a game plan knowing that Alabama can attack you two different ways, two different styles?
Well, I know you just asked me a question, but I'm going to throw one back at you. We're talking about Nick Saban. You think he's going to try to go with a two-quarterback system?
No.
But if he did, I would not want to be the defensive coordinator on that other side, on the other team that's having to deal with two different styles of quarterbacks coming in the game. One that's more of an RPO style quarterback, and then you have a guy that's more of a pro style quarterback that can sit in the pocket. who can run it. Not saying that he can't run it, but who can throw it and run a pro-style offense like Tua can, and then you got a quarterback that can come in and run the RPO offense like Jalen. I mean, I wouldn't. The problem is you had to put together two different game plans, and that's basically what happened at Georgia. They had a game plan for Jalen. Kirby didn't have a game plan for Tua. He had an idea if it wasn't going good that they may put Tua in, but he just couldn't put together two different game plans. That when Tua came in, we're going to do this. He couldn't, and before he knew it, Alabama was on top of his head, and he couldn't get them all.
So, but I mean, aren't you glad that you don't have to make that decision? I mean, with two quarterbacks that are talented as obviously Jalen and Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, leading the championship, and then you got a guy that's 25-2. I mean, obviously it's a competition, right? It's a competition, but it's going to be a fun one for you and I and many others sitting on the sidelines. Thankfully,
it's going to be a great competition to watch when the spring opens up, and for those two guys, I mean, competition is competition. I don't think either one of them is afraid of competition, but I think they probably are afraid of what the outcome may be, because then I believe there'll be a situation where somebody's going to have to make a decision to stay or to go. Because, I mean, if I'm a 2-year starter and I take my university or take the university to a championship game 2 years in a row, and then all of a sudden I'm no longer the starter, or if I come in the second half and I do what I did and we come out victorious at the end, and now I go into the spring, I'm not a starter. That's tough for a man's ego. I don't care how old you are. Everybody has an ego. And do I hang in there and just stay there and be like, well, if something happens and he gets hurt, I get my shot? Or do I say, hey, I appreciate everything, but I'm going to move on? It's a tough call. I hate to be in Coach Saban's shoes. I hate to be in Mike Locksley's shoes. I hate to be the quarterback coach of this, because everybody's going to play a part in making a decision by the time they go into the spring and come out of it.
There's no doubt about it, and it's going to be fun. We're looking for an on-site reporter. You have an interest?
Hey, just you let me know when you need me, and I'm there.
I'm just teasing. Hey, Antonio, let me say this, and just kind of help us, because we love to be able to connect with those memories of Alabama football. What would you like the people to remember about Jeremy Nunley, your teammate, and we'll let you go, man. What would you like to the people that didn't know him the way that you knew him? And I know we opened up talking about this, but we got people tuning in each and every 15 minutes. But what would you like the people to remember about Jeremy Nunley?
Man, what I want them to know, man, that we can always brag about what a man is on the football field, because we know what type of competitor he was on the football field. But I mean, off the field, I want everybody to know that Nunnally, man, is an A1 guy, a stand-up guy, and he loved his family, he loved his kids, man. He loved us, and we loved him. He loved Alabama, he loved the fans, he loved it all. I want everybody to remember my guy, not as the great competitor that he was on the football field, but the man off the field who could handle humility, who could, when he met you, he could bring a smile to your face. He could be the guy to have fun with you. He's the guy that could make you feel welcome when you're around him, man. That's what I want everybody to remember about my guy, second to none, man. And if there's anything I could do, if I could put on his headstone, man, I would love to see on there, second to none, because he was one of a kind, man.
Langham, I appreciate you, man, and certainly think about you 92 guys. I know you guys going through a hard time, but remember the great moments, and we appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You'll be in our thoughts and prayers, and certainly your teammates as well.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Langham.
Thank you very much, man. It's good to talk to you.